Hi friends, now let me discuss about how sociology is relevant to the general studies, essay and ethics. This is with regard to the civil services mains examination. The student who opt for sociology as an optional subject have several benefits. The content and analysis of sociology is very much relevant to the general studies. In fact, sociology is concerned about the understanding about the structure, functions and changes in human society, and sociological analysis mainly focuses on understanding about the global society apart from Indian society, and sociological understanding is very much helpful for the student to understand and analyze the various issues that are persisting in global society as well as Indian society. And if you look at the content of sociology that is related to society in general and Indian society in particular. So, the overall understanding of sociology helps to present an effective answer for the topics related to the general studies as well as the paper on ethics and integrity. Then let me uh, analyze how it is relevant to the general studies. Sociological perspective is very much useful to present an effective answer to the questions related to general studies topics such as salient features of Indian society, communalism, regionalism, secularism, effects of globalization on Indian society, poverty, and urbanization. In fact, all these topics demand an answer with some sociological perspective. For example, when we talk about regionalism, so what are the factors that are responsible for the rise of regional tendencies in different parts of the country? So then we need to look at this point from the economic point of view, cultural point of view, and political point of view. So that means sociological perspective helps to analyze the issue of regionalism in a uh, effective way. Then similarly, effects of globalization on Indian society. So when we look at the topic of effects of globalization on Indian society, so a student can have a deeper understanding of the impact of globalization on various sections of the society, like how globalization as an economic process has influenced the economic system in Indian society, more specifically agrarian society in Indian society, agrarian society in India, and how globalization as an economic process has influenced the small scale industries, cottage industries, caste occupations in Indian society, and how globalization as a cultural process influenced Indian culture, traditions, and rituals. So, like that, globalization and its impact on Indian society could be analyzed from the point of view of economic aspect, social aspect, and cultural aspect. So, like that, almost all aspects related to general studies, especially with regard to Indian society, social justice can be effectively dealt with a sociological perspective and sociological understanding. So, this is the advantage of sociology to present an effective answer related to these topics. Then there are certain issues like population issues, population dynamics, then social policies for vulnerable sections, welfare schemes and their impact on vulnerable sections in particular, and rural society in general. National policies related to health, education, and human resources development and their implications. So, all these, with regard to all these topics, an effective analysis can be presented with a sociological perspective and sociological understanding. Then, sociological dimension is very much helpful to write an effective answer related to the questions related to the topics of the paper 5 on ethics, integrity, and aptitude. And so far, I tried to relate how sociological perspective is helpful to write an effective answer related to uh, uh, the uh, certain components of general studies like Indian society and social justice. Now let me relate it to the ethics and integrity. The questions related to human values, role of family, society, and educational institutions in inculcating values, teachings of great leaders, reformers, administrators, emotional intelligence, and its application in administration and governance, ethical concerns in government institutions, probity in governance, etc., especially demands an answer with sociological perspective. Especially with regard to the teachings of great leaders, reformers, and administrators. The sociological knowledge is very much helpful. Why? Because while talking about the contribution of the great social thinkers to reform, to transform Indian society, that helps to write an effective answer. So, in sociology, a student is exposed to the different ideologies and thought of various social thinkers like Indian thinkers like Mahatma Gandhi, then Arabindo Ghosh, then Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Jyotiba Phule, then Western thinkers like Karl Marx, then Machiavelli, then Bentham. Like the views of all these thinkers are very much helpful to write an effective answer. Then, similarly, the topic related to emotional intelligence. So, basically, this topic is related to sociology as well as psychology. So, the knowledge about social psychology helps a student to present an effective answer with regard to the questions related to emotional intelligence. So, like that, sociological perspective helps a lot to present an effective answer related to the topics of ethics and integrity. Then the knowledge of sociology is of a great help to write an essay in an effective manner with scientific and logical analysis. How? If you look at the previous year question papers related to essay, at least two questions are related to Indian society, and most of those topics are related to the in contemporary issues related to Indian society. So, as part of sociology, a student study about the structure, functions, and changes of Indian society and various types of social systems or social institutions related to Indian society, like family system, marriage system, economic system, political system, religious system. And a sociology student also analyze the changing trends in Indian society, and they also study about the various issues related to the Indian society like poverty, unemployment, crime and deviance, violence against women, then development and displacement, urban slums, migration, population dynamics, then expansion of informal sector and its influence on local economy, then political dynamics in Indian society. Like various aspects are being discussed as part of sociology. And this wide knowledge related to Indian society helps a student to write an effective and most relevant answer. So, these are the advantages of sociology, not only to score good marks in sociology as an optional subject, but the knowledge of sociology is also helpful to present an effective answers for the topics related to general studies and also ethics and integrity. Thank you.